Hi guys, I wanted to chat to you about getting started in property development. I've had a couple of questions as of late around people not knowing how to actually get started. One is you've got to be able to understand the process first, to understand the process of property development. Now just think about it simply, it's buying a block of land or buying a piece of land, building something on it, buying a piece of land, getting an approval for something, building, and then finishing it. So just think it as a single house, so don't overcomplicate it. There's a lot of different moving parts in property development, but you just want to get it back to the basics. So the first one is you've got to actually find a property. Now, although you need to find a property, you need to think or start with the end in mind. And what I mean by that, it's the same with anything. If you've gone to self-education programs, you've probably heard people say, start with the end in mind. Start with what you want to achieve in terms of your goals. Now, they will eventually work themselves back to being financial because it's the money that gets us the thing that we actually want. So if you want a holiday every year, 6 months, 2 months, well, that costs money. And it's not just the money for the cost of the holiday, it's also the money cost for your time as well. So think about what goals you want. If you're shooting for the stars, you're going to have to look at bigger projects. If you just want to replace your income, and I'd say that is a good spot or a good point to start, is just to replace your income. So if you're on $100,000 a year, just look for something to replace your income, because once you get your time back, and this is one thing that I used to do, used to aim for the stars, but what I realized is once I actually had my time back and I wasn't working for a boss for 40, well, it was a lot more than 40, but 80 hours a week in my instance, then that extra time I put into generating more wealth and doing more projects. So focus on just getting your time back. Now, I haven't even spoken about the property yet. So if you're still with me, you need to work out what your goal is first and foremost, what you want to achieve. Then work out a strategy that will match that goal. So if you've got a goal of, say, $100,000 a year to replace your income, your strategy is going to be small, especially if you've never done a development before. Start off small, and by small I mean 1 into 2. That's it. You don't need to do anything sexy. Just do 1 into 2 land lots or 1 into 2 houses. I just looked at one in Brisbane, which was on the outskirts of Brisbane. Somebody did this development. Now, it was just an example that I used. I came across this person will make $250,000-$300,000 from doing a 1 into 2 lot subdivision, and he'll do that in just over 12 months. And that person, whether they knew what they were doing or not, is another question, but that person will make $250,000-$300,000 by doing one development in 12 to 18 months. Might be a bit less than 18 months, but we'll just use that just to be safe. Now, if your goal is $100,000 a year and you do one of those deals and it took you 18 months, well, there's your $100,000 a year taken care of. So then you go and quit your job and you do it again, and then you do it at scale. So instead of just doing one, maybe you do 2 or 3 a year, and that's enough to make you, $300,000-$400,000 a year as a start. And then you can start to generate wealth. So just pick your strategy with where you're at. So if your strategy is $100,000 or $200,000 a year, pick something small, 1 into 2, 1 into 3 tops, and then build your model. And what I mean by your model is your financial model. Now, we have tools as part of the program that enables you to do quick feasibilities, also shows you how to do full feasibilities and what costs to consider. You need other people to help you with those costs. So people like builders, consultants, contractors, then there's a whole list of standard costs like stamp duty, holding costs with interest and things like that. So once you get to know what your costs are, and those guys that are in my program, there's a formula for that. It's really simple. I've kept it as simple as possible for those guys doing smaller projects. And once you work out that financial model, then you apply that financial model to the product you're looking at doing. So you actually need to do all of the process theoretically using an example. So go and find somebody who's already done a development and see whether they've actually made money on it, and find out the financial model. Once you find a development in an area that's making money, all you've got to do is just replicate that. So I'll give you the example that I was looking at yesterday with my students. Was a an 860 square meter block of land. Somebody else had done the development. They bought the block, demolished the house, and they split the block into two land lots, so 2 blocks. That was it, a 1 into 2 lot subdivision. They made $250,000, $300,000 from doing that one tiny deal over just over 12 months. So what you need to do is see that, work out the financial analysis. So I worked out there's about $250,000, $300,000 profit from that deal. So that's a bit of a light bulb moment where you go, okay, that suburb, you can buy a block of land, it's 860 square meters, you can split it into 2 and you can make $250,000 to $300,000, and you can do that in 12 to 18 months. Like, it's pretty easy once you realize what actually works. And all I did was just look at what somebody else had done. I didn't try and make it up. It wasn't anything special. I just literally looked at what somebody else was doing, worked out, hey, they're making money on this. Why don't I just copy them? So you know what well, not me, but what the students will do is look for 860 square meter blocks that they can buy for that price, where they can demolish the house and then split it into 2 lots. Now that was in a suburb 15 kilometers north of Brisbane CBD. That was just one area that works. There's another area that I use some examples from, 45 minutes from Brisbane. On the north side, I do know southeast Queensland quite well, so I am familiar with these pockets. And once you do know an area, now I didn't know this area that was 15 kilometers north of Brisbane. I knew where it was located. That was about it. It took me about 10 minutes to find this development, work out whether it was profitable. Once I've worked that out, that it is profitable, then you start to source sites in that area, and then you become an area expert by doing that. You've got your model, and now you're going hunting for the right sites that fit with your model. So I hope that's helped with getting started. Now you've obviously got to find the project. Once you find the project, then you've got to deliver it to the end. But if you know what your model is, you can go and get all of those properties that fit that model. There could be 100 or 200 in any one suburb. So out of 100 or 200 properties, you're bound to buy at least a few of those, if not more. And to be honest, in a lot of suburbs, there's a lot more than 1 or 200. So there's endless opportunities. Think in abundance, that you can find properties that don't have to be on market, and in markets that are running hot, it's actually better to buy off market. You generally get a better deal, and you can also negotiate with the vendor direct, so you can get creative terms a lot of the times. So I hope that's helped you guys getting started, and you know that after you gain the knowledge, go back to the start and start with the end in mind. Have a vision on what you want to develop, and then start and look for the properties that can be developed into what your vision is. And if you're starting off small, there's nothing wrong with doing 1 into 2 lot subdivisions where you can make, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 from doing one of those. That for most people will be enough money to quit their job and then get their time freedom back. And then once you've done one of those, do you think you could do another one and another one? I mean, you could do quite easily one of those per year. And if you could make $200,000, $300,000 from just doing one, you could duplicate that over and over. So thanks for watching. Hope you got a lot of value. Let me know what you think. And if you want to know additional information on some of the topics that I've spoken about, please let me know. We'll chat to you later.